to deliver his address.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Allianz and the partnership we have brought forward to partner with the Wildlife and Nature Protection Society and the Plant Initiative. Something that I really saw today was WNTS and Allianz Global have a lot in common in terms of when they were created and when they started. 1890, I think, no, 1880. 1890, and we were 1894, and it's been a long history. We were initially called the Wildlife Society of Ceylon, and surprisingly, or not surprisingly at that time by the British, we were a hunting society. And we became a conservation organization maybe in the early 20s or the early 100s, in 1900s. And yes, so it's been a journey for WNTS, and we have, as an organization, initially managed the two main national parks of Sri Lanka, Wilpattu and Yala, and also we had a landmark win to save Singaraja forest. But in the last 10 to 15 years, we have taken long strides in terms of conservation, and one of those huge wins is the plant concept, derived by Sriyan Vijayratna, and quite aptly is the one that now runs it. Taking a few words from both Prashant and Sriyan, it is important that we as society do contribute in our own small way. And what Allianz is coming forward with is fantastic for the country. We have to protect what we have in our country, in Sri Lanka. It's not only about the leopard or the elephant or jackal, and it's just talking about jackal, which is around journal. 50% of this jackal population has perished, and that's why today you see monorail, as we call it, in the country, all over, in Colombo, which you didn't see 10 years ago. The jackal was its key predator, and the loss of that habitat and that animal has created the peacock to grow and grow and grow in its lifestyle. So the other part of what Allianz is supporting is this scientific journal called the Loris Magazine or the Loris Journal. And initially it was a scientific journal, but today it's a combination of science as well as maybe some stories of people traveling abroad or traveling in Sri Lanka and what they see and what they like to talk about the environment or an animal species. Again, this journal is 89 years old this year, and it's the oldest scientific environmental journal or conservation journal. And we do have a sister journal of it called Varna Varnam, which is also the first trilingual journal in the country as well. As Prashant said, and as Ranga said in similar, if corporates and as individuals, if we don't come forward to work alongside the government, because there are so many restrictions that the government has, and what they can do and the red tape they have to go through, because we know that very, very clearly as we work with them very closely. There are such limitations that they have that they can't perform their job. A lot of you may be going to Yala National Park or Wilpattu National Park, and you will see all the crowds there. Yes, they make a lot of money, but none of it goes back into conservation of those national parks, right? So part of tourism in Sri Lanka, we need to see how we can align those goals to see, can the people living alongside national parks earn something from that national park and the revenue from there. Coming back, I'm not going to talk too much of plants because Sriyan did that job, but as he quite rightly said, most of our work in plant is in locations that are not national parks. The Singaraja Belt, the Peak Wilderness, the Knuckles Range, those are localities that we are working very, very closely in, And that's where the highest endemism of Sri Lanka is. Sri Lanka is one of the 36 hotspots of biodiversity. So there are only 36 locations in the world. We have to protect what we have. I was telling Ranga earlier, in the Singaraja forest, just speaking one species, freshwater crab, we have 52 species, all only inside Singaraja. So this is the endemism and the biodiversity we have in our country, and it's mind-boggling. And as citizens, we have to band together to ensure there is development, but sustained development. So organizations like Allianz and everybody else that's partnering with conservation organizations, not only us, need to work together to achieve one common goal. One Earth, one us. Taking Kasun's and Allianz goals for the future. I thank you, Allianz, very much, Prashant Ranga, Kasun, and everybody else from the Allianz team for working and partnering with us, and the plant team for putting all this together, especially Sriyan and Sachin. Thank you very much.